because you with me, I think it's a new Supremes. Oh my goodness, what was the real connection between Michael Jackson and Diana Ross? Did their friendship go deeper than anyone knew? Why did Michael admire Diana so much and even name her in his will? Were there hidden stories about their bond that he never shared? Could Diana have influenced Michael's music and life? Let's explore the secrets behind their relationship and what Michael never told the world. Michael Jackson had many people in his life, but Diana Ross was special. She was 14 years older than him and played a big role in his world. Michael called her his mother, lover, and friend. She was the love he could never fully have, and it stayed that way his whole life. Michael met Diana in 1969 when the Jackson 5 signed with Motown. At the time, Berry Gordy, Motown's boss, was amazed by Michael's talent. Gordy thought Michael was like James Brown and Sammy Davis Jr. all in one. There was a story that Diana Ross discovered the Jackson 5, but that wasn't true. Gordy made that up as part of a publicity stunt. Another story said Michael was 9 years old in 1969, but he was actually 11. Those were also Gordy's ideas to make the group more exciting. According to sources, in 1969, Michael lived with Diana Ross for a year. He called her mama and even girlfriend. His mother, Katherine Jackson, wrote in her book that Michael often called Diana mama. He loved her so much that he would tease his sisters, LaToya and Janet, saying, "You're not pretty until you look like Diana." Diana Ross was always a big part of Michael's life. He loved her deeply, but she was a love he could never fully hold on to. When he started his career, I introduced them on their very first television show, which was The Ed Sullivan Show. Michael wanted more with Diana, he wanted to marry her. There's a story that they were engaged twice, but Diana broke it off both times. People say she thought marrying Michael, who was 14 years younger than her, might harm her career. In 1977, they worked together on The Wiz, a movie filmed in New York. Michael was just 19 years old during filming. Diana went to Michael's apartment one night and stayed until morning. The next day, an assistant couldn't find them and called the apartment. He was surprised to discover Diana was still there. Later, Diana joked with her friends on set. She said, "One thing's for sure, Michael isn't gay." When the assistant asked Michael what happened that night, Michael said, "You'd have to ask her." When the assistant asked Diana, she replied, "You'd have to ask Michael." Michael even wrote about her in the liner notes of his History album, calling her his mysterious love. Their relationship was full of admiration, but it left fans wondering if there was more to their story. Detroit for a showcase for Berry Gordy, and I remember them wearing these little green outfits and these hats. They did a show, and we knew then that it was going to be something special because Michael always carried a photo of the two of them together. That photo wasn't just something he kept in his pocket, it was a sign of how much she meant to him. He even had a room in his house devoted to Diana, whom he called a goddess. He filled the room with photos and paintings of Ross, and it also contained thousands of candles burning for her 24/7. An Obeah man gave him the idea when he was a kid that burning candles with a central picture of your beloved would keep her from leaving you. So he always had thousands of candles burning to central pictures of Diana 24/7. That same scene was replicated in a music video when he had the crowd holding up thousands of candles to his beloved Diana at the end. Diana is the only woman he ever had this type of candle ceremony for. He always had this admiration for Diana Ross when he was young, and I think it got to a point where he really loved her. He really liked her still to this day. She was just a dream for him, and he had this ongoing fascination for her. When Diana got married, Michael had mixed emotions. He was happy for her because he wanted her to feel joy, but deep inside, he was hurt. And here is why. In the mid-1980s, Diana promised to marry Michael, and he thought his biggest dream was coming true. She even wore his ring. You can see it on her finger at the Motown 25 show and the 1984 American Music Awards, AMA. At the AMA, something special happened. Diana kissed Michael on the mouth in public for the first time. She even held his face in her hands to show off the ring. Diana wanted to see how people would react. She always liked testing the waters. Later, Michael and Diana told his mother, Katherine Jackson, about their engagement, but Katherine wasn't happy. She said Diana was too old for Michael and accused her of ruining his image. Things got worse when Katherine talked to reporters, who started calling Diana names like cradle robber. The pressure became too much for Diana. Instead of marrying Michael, she ran away and married Arnaz Jr. Diana's marriage, however, was not happy despite having 2 sons. When Diana and Arn got married, they lived on separate continents. Diana mentioned in interviews that she couldn't live in Norway because it was cold and dark and didn't want to move away from her older kids, family, and career in the US. Word was that Diana secretly saw Michael even during her pregnancies. He was devastated and brokenhearted but was still under her spell. "I've always loved Diana, and I always will," he wrote in his autobiography, Moonwalk. But as the years went by, Michael's interactions with Diana became more infrequent. She focused on family life while he extensively promoted and toured around the world. In 1991, Diana told the Rock Hill Herald that, "When he wants to see me, he sees me. When he doesn't, he kind of closes the door. There's no reaching him, there's no finding him, there's no anything. He's just this elusive love out there." Michael wrote the song Dirty Diana because he was heartbroken and angry. Diana had left him for a famous mountain climber. Michael wasn't ready to let her go. He wanted to fight for her and show her how much he cared, but after crying over the breakup, his sadness turned to anger. Michael had spent years trying to win Diana's heart. He spent millions of dollars buying her gifts and doing everything to make her happy. When she chose other men over him, it hurt him deeply. That's when he wrote Dirty Diana. The song was his way of getting revenge, and it painted Diana in a very bad light. The line "she likes the boys in the band" was a dig at Diana. She had dated famous musicians like Lionel Richie, Barry Gibb, and Gene Simmons, even when she was supposed to be with Michael. Even Quincy Jones, Michael's producer, flipped out when he first heard the song. He begged Michael not to release it, knowing everyone would assume it was about Diana. Quincy suggested changing the second verse to make it sound like a song about a groupie instead. That's what they did, but Diana knew it was about her. She was so angry that she didn't speak to Michael for weeks. However, when she forgave him, she even joked about the song and recorded her own version of it as an intro to her show. "I want to say this, you might not know this, but I kind of discovered this lady, you know? And then there's a rumor that Smokey Robinson and Diana Ross are Michael Jackson's secret parents." In an interview, Smokey was asked about the claim and responded with a big laugh. "They say I'm the baby daddy? Ha! Oh my God, that's pretty good. That's funny," he said, clearly enjoying the joke. He even joked about calling Diana to ask if she had heard the rumor too. "I'm going to call her and ask her." "That's funny," he laughed. While Smokey dismissed the rumor, he did admit to a past affair with Diana Ross. "Yes, we did," Smokey confirmed. "For about a year. I was married at the time. We were working together, and it just happened." He spoke highly of Diana, saying she was a beautiful person and that he still loves her today. "She's one of my closest people," Smokey said. Smokey said that the relationship ended when Diana realized he still loved his wife, Claudette, and didn't want to hurt her. Smokey also shared that he had a crush on Aretha Franklin when he was young, but they were always just friends. Smokey's marriage to Claudette lasted for over 25 years, but they divorced in 1986 after Smokey had a child with another woman. Diana was vacillating between alcohol addiction and altercations with the law, intense professional highs and lows. Her friends and family began to realize that Diana was relying much more on alcohol than she should. Eventually, she admitted herself to a 30-day rehab program in May of 2002, but it would take more than that to right the ship. 3 weeks later, she left her rehab program prematurely in order to jump back into a scheduled run of tour dates. It was a serious mistake. While the ticket sales for this tour were much better than the failed Supremes reunion, she was struggling. In August, she went for another brief stint in rehab before leaving again. Then, it all came to a disturbing head. In December of 2002, Tucson police pulled over Diana after they found her driving the wrong way down a one-way street. When they performed a sobriety test, they were shocked by what they found. The breathalyzer revealed that her BAC was at 0.20%, more than double Arizona's 0.08% limit for driving. And that wasn't even the most surprising part. Diana Ross wasn't in Arizona for tour dates, she was actually there for a stay at Canyon Ranch Health Resort, which offers much more than just spa services. After pleading no contest to the charges against her, a judge sentenced Diana to 48 hours in jail, which she served later that year. It was a low point, thankfully, one that hasn't been repeated since. Diana sparked another controversy at the 1999 MTV Video Music Awards, which was unforgettable, especially because of Lil' Kim's bold outfit. The rapper wore a lilac sparkling jumpsuit with a mermaid vibe. The outfit had one side cut open, showing one of her breasts, which was covered by a shell-shaped pasty. It was shocking but also a fashion statement that people still talk about today. What made that night even more talked about was what happened on stage with Diana Ross. Lil' Kim, Diana Ross, and Mary J. Blige were presenting an award together. As they walked onto the stage, Diana Ross did something unexpected. She reached over and playfully jiggled Lil' Kim's exposed breast. The crowd gasped, and it became one of the most iconic moments in VMA history. Later, Lil' Kim explained how she felt about the moment. In a 2013 interview, she said it wasn't a big deal to her. She thought Diana Ross was just being friendly and complimenting her bold look. "I think it was more of a playful wow, you look sexy kind of thing," Kim said. She even joked that if there was ever a movie about her life, she'd want Diana Ross to play her mom. Mary J. Blige, on the other hand, had a different reaction. She felt bad about what happened. During an interview, she said she was embarrassed for Lil' Kim and didn't think it was okay. Mary called Lil' Kim her little sister and said she respects her bold style but didn't like how the moment played out. Diana Ross spoke out in support of her longtime friend Michael Jackson, asking for an end to the criticism surrounding him. This came after the release of the Leaving Neverland documentary, which made serious accusations of child sexual abuse against Jackson. Ross took to Twitter to share her feelings. She wrote, "This is what's on my heart this morning. I believe and trust that Michael Jackson was and is a magnificent, incredible force to me and to many others." She also called on people to stop criticizing Jackson, using a famous line from her hit song with the Supremes, "Stop. In the name of love." Her comments followed similar support from singer Barbra Streisand, who said that Jackson's actions were influenced by his childhood experiences. Streisand also said the people involved seemed happy with their experiences, pointing out that they grew up, got married, and had children. However, after facing backlash for these comments, Streisand clarified her stance, stating that nothing justifies taking advantage of children and that she felt sympathy for Jackson's alleged victims. Diana's message to stop the negative talk about Jackson reflected her belief in his character and the positive impact he had on her life and others. She asked people to show more love and understanding rather than focusing on the accusations against him. After Leaving Neverland aired, Jackson was accused by Wade Robson and James Safechuck of years of sexual abuse when they were children. The allegations, which Jackson's family denied, seriously damaged his legacy. The controversy led Louis Vuitton to drop a range of Jackson-themed clothing, and a biographical musical, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, was put on hold. Diana and Streisand were far from the only fans to defend him. A crowd-funded advertising campaign asserting Jackson's innocence appeared on London buses before being removed due to public sensitivity. Meanwhile, the fan group The Michael Jackson Community sued Robson and Safechuck over their accusations. Although Diana always had a place in Michael's heart, he called her his world, he once made a shocking move to prove it. When she visited him in the hospital in 1995, he had his then-wife Lisa Marie Presley literally thrown out of the room in preparation for Diana's arrival. He lavished her with affection and gifts. After Michael Jackson's death in 2009, many years after they had maintained a close relationship, Diana was mentioned in his will. He stated that he wanted his children to be left in her care in the event of his mother's death. This act honored her as the great mother she was to her children, knowing that in death, she would be the best to guide his own. At the end of 1980, after 20 years with Motown Records, the Detroit-based label where she became a superstar, Diana decided it was time for a change. She announced she was looking for a new record deal and received over $250,000 as severance from Motown. Many record companies wanted to sign her, offering huge deals. On May 14, 1981, Diana shared exciting news. She had signed a long-term deal with RCA Records. This deal was for the United States and Canada and was worth $20 million over 7 years. It also gave her complete control over the production of her albums. Before signing with RCA, she reportedly asked Motown's Berry Gordy if he could match RCA's offer. Gordy said it was impossible. Diana then officially signed with RCA on May 20, 1981. At that time, her deal was the most expensive in music history. She even turned down an $18 million offer from Boardwalk Records to join RCA. Joining RCA was a new chapter for Diana. She experimented with her music and style in bold and exciting ways. Each album brought something fresh, thrilling many fans. Long before artists like Madonna were known for constant reinvention, Diana was already paving the way. One of her standout songs during this time was Up Front. Released as a single, it was a mix of light rock, pop, and dance music. Critics praised her performance, especially her energetic delivery and confidence. The song featured funky electric guitars and catchy beats. Produced by Ray Parker Jr. However, it didn't get much promotion, and without a music video, it only reached number 60 on the R&B chart. Still, it showed Diana's willingness to try new things and proved she was more than just a pop star. Diana Ross has achieved more than most artists could dream of. She has been nominated for 13 Grammy Awards and has won 2 Grammy Lifetime Achievement Awards, one for her solo career and one with the Supremes. She's the only female artist to have #1 hits as a solo artist, a trio member, part of a duet with Lionel Richie, Endless Love, and part of an ensemble, USA for Africa's We Are the World. Diana also has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and is a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame member with the Supremes. In 2016, she received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Beyond music, Diana has worked hard to help others, especially children. She has raised millions for charities and supported programs like A Better Chance, which helps talented inner-city kids get into top schools.